A lot of people, professionals, they feel nervous while talking to seniors. They know what they want to say, but their voice becomes low, their sentences become unclear. So, in this video, we'll learn how to talk to seniors confidently using calm, respectful, and professional English. Let's begin. So, basically, today we are going to address the elephant in the room. Okay, and we'll be addressing this important question, which is why talking to seniors feels difficult. So basically what happens is seniors have experience, authority and an influence, right? And because of this, many people they either speak too little or at times they over explain themselves or most of the times they sound unsure. Okay, I'm sure this must be happening with you also in front of your seniors, right? So how can you cope up with that? This is where professional English comes in, okay? If you know how to talk to your seniors, you will be better prepared and you will be sounding confident, okay, in front of them. So professional English helps you sound respectful without sounding scared, okay? That's the key thing. And this confidence that we are talking about, it comes from structure and clarity, okay? So with this, let's move ahead to our phrases, situation by situation, and see what are we gonna learn today, okay? So the first phrase is about starting a conversation. So how do you start a conversation with your senior? Basically, instead of starting nervously, you have to start clearly, okay? So as it's saying here, don't start nervously, right? Because the way you start matters a lot. So instead of starting nervously, you can start your conversation with your senior with phrases like, "Hey, I wanted to discuss something," or "Hello, may I have few minutes of your time?" So let's see some example. Okay, I wanted to discuss something with you regarding the project. So basically, the way you start your sentence, if you start your sentence with these phrases, it will make you sound respectful and professional before your senior. Let's move ahead to our next phrase. Of course, it's about sharing an update, which happens quite a lot of times, like most of the people and most of the times you will be sharing updates with your seniors, right? So how do you convey your thoughts or messages to your senior? Yet again, it's the same thing I'll say, but you have to ensure that you don't sound unsure. Okay? Unsure, confused. You should be sounding clear and confident. So what can you say instead? Here's a quick update. Okay? So the way you start your sentence, the way you frame your sentence, it gives that instant confident vibe, okay, to your senior that okay, this guy is confident. He has come to me to share some update, right? So let's see some example. So the next time you go to your senior, you can use something like this, okay? You can say, here's a quick update on the task that we discussed about earlier, okay? So basically, the way you frame this sentence and the way you convey your update, it helps to build trust between you and your senior, okay? So let's move ahead with this. Our next phrase is about asking questions to seniors. So, yet again, a very important thing to understand, how do you ask questions to your seniors, right? So, you should always remember, first of all, it's okay to ask. Okay, so you don't ever think that okay, he or she is my senior, so I can't really put up questions before them because it might sound rude, right, or unprofessional. But that is never the case. Understand this. You can always ask questions, okay, to any of your senior. So it's always okay to ask. Okay. Next, what you can say is, right, just sound respectful. Okay, this is the key thing. Just say, I would like your guidance, or could you please advise? Right? So if you use these phrases, it basically, I'll say, impresses your senior. Okay, it tells him or tells her that, okay, you are a very professional guy and you know how to convey your thoughts and you know how to approach a senior. Right? Let's see an example. Suppose you are doing some coding problem, okay, and you are stuck somewhere and you want some advice. Simply go to your senior and say, I would like your guidance on this coding problem. Okay, or if you're stuck anywhere in some random task, anything, okay, you could simply say, could you please advise me on the next steps? That's it. Okay, so basically always remember that this shows respect, okay, not your weakness. You can always go to your senior and ask questions, right? So let's move ahead. Another very important phrase that you have to learn about is disagreeing respectfully, right? It's not just professional, it's also a bit sensitive, okay? So you have to make sure you make correct choice of words while disagreeing with your seniors, okay? Because you have to be careful about it. You don't have to sound, you don't want to sound disrespectful, right? Or rude to your senior. So don't say, suppose you are not agreeing with your senior on some topic, okay, or his thought process. So you don't ever say, I don't think this is right. Okay, never use this sentence. Okay, instead, you can be a bit more professional and start your sentence with, I may be mistaken, but I see a potential risk here. So what happens is this basically balances humility as well as confidence. Okay, so I'll say again, once again, that this is a very important phrase to understand. So keep this in mind, please. Okay. So let's move ahead with our next phrase. It's about ending the conversation. So what's the key mantra here? Always end on a positive note. Okay. So basically, you should always end your conversations professionally and ensure that you end them on a very positive note. Okay. So how you can achieve that? Simply say thank you for your time or I appreciate your guidance. So what happens is when you end a conversation respectfully, it leaves a very strong impression. Okay. So that is why it is important. Moving further, this brings us to our quick practice section. Let's have a quick recall. And as I always say, start, pause after each sentence, absorb it, and then move ahead. Okay. So first phrase. If you want to uh, seek some advice, okay, you can, instead of saying, so you can, how can you approach your senior? You can simply say, may I have a few minutes? Okay. If you want to share an update, you can say, here's a quick update. If you want to ask a question, you can say, I would like your guidance. Okay. If you want to disagree with your senior on something, you could say, I may be mistaken, but this. Okay. And whenever you are ending a conversation, always end on a positive note. Say thank you for your time. And to conclude, what I'll say is, see, your seniors, they don't expect perfection, right? They are your seniors. They know everything. And they expect clarity and respect. That's it. Okay. So they're ready to help you. They're always ready to help you. All they expect in return is clarity and respect. Okay. So this is where professional English comes in. It helps you speak calmly and confidently. So this brings us to the end of our video. If it was helpful, you can subscribe to the channel. In the next video, we'll learn how to talk to juniors professionally at work. Thank you.